Eskom and the labour unions got underway earlier today in a bid to end the stalemate. Eskom revised its initial offer of no increase for this year to 4.7%. NUM, NUMSA and Solidarity met with the power utility last week in a second round of talks initiated following intervention by Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan. Workers last week rejected the increase of 4.7%. Initially, the labour unions wanted a 15% increase but have now dropped this to 9%. The electricity grid has been constrained, with Eskom implementing load shedding, citing the effects of the protest action by workers. The talks are expected to continue until this Friday. Well, for more on this, we cross live to our reporter Mbongeni Mutwa, who is in Sunning Hill for us at Eskom. So what's going on there, Mbongeni? The last time we spoke, you did indicate that it's getting quite tough in terms of the negotiations.
Well, yeah, firstly, we are in Woodmead, not Sunning Hill, Woodmead. It's not far from, and also it's not at Eskom, but it's not very far from Eskom, but it's actually Woodmead. Eskom has secured a neutral venue for this. It's a nice hotel and conference venue. That's where they are meeting. Indeed, things are really heating up here. Behind me, as you can see, the door is locked. Inside that door is the Labour caucus, the NUMSA Solidarity caucus. They did try to have the meeting briefly at around 12 o'clock, and then they broke early, went for an early lunch. They've been back caucusing for over an hour now. On my left-hand side, there's a holding room for the Eskom negotiating team. A lot of dynamics are coming through now around these negotiations. One is the different character of the unions, the NUM and NUMSA unions, NUM, of course, being the majority at Eskom. The NUM members at Eskom are quite militant. We've seen them over the years when the legal prescript that says Eskom is an essential service, so workers there are not allowed to strike. We've seen them constantly challenging that legal prescript, staging one-day protests, marching to head office, and then afterwards having the leadership negotiate on their behalf with management to forgive them on that one-day protest, whatever. And they're the ones also, like I said earlier, who threatened, who forced that double-digit increase that they got 3 years ago, the 10%, by threatening to down tools, come rain or whatever. They are quite militant. It seems like at Eskom, the NUM at Eskom is led by the member. It's not the other way around. And so now we've seen the new leadership coming here, the ones that were elected last week Friday. We are told that the new president, Mr. John Montisetsi, who has been the deputy to Pete Machosa, who unfortunately did not get re-elected, he's now the new president. Apparently he came here this morning just to stamp the NUM's authority on these negotiations. Apparently there's been a feeling that over the past week, while the NUM leaders could not come here because they were preparing for that do-or-die elective congress of theirs, there's a feeling that Ivan Jim of NUMSA kind of saw the vacuum and occupied it and took a leadership role of both unions, the negotiating teams here of both NUM and NUMSA. So Mr. Mabapa is here now, the Deputy General Secretary of the NUM, and it seems like they are coming with an intention, a purpose to stamp their authority, the NUM's authority on this negotiation, to say, we are here now, we are the majority union, and this is what our members want or are saying. So the unity and cohesion, or the apparent unity and cohesion that we saw last week in terms of the three unions, speaking in one voice in these media briefings that they gave us at the end of each day, and so on and so on. That today is being tested. Inside there, it is being tested in that caucus of the unions. Apparently at plenary as well, the first plenary that happened this morning, where Eskom tabled the official response to the 9% demand, the 5% improved offer, even apparently in that session as well, the NUM leadership led by Mr. Mawaba also used that to stamp their authority on this negotiation. So the dynamics have changed, the mood has changed, things are getting very serious. The big question now is the NUMSA alliance, especially that we've seen in these talks, is it going to hold when you have the NUM being pushed by their militant members, and then you have NUMSA? The character of the NUMSA member at Eskom is not the same as the NUM member. They have no track record of militancy or anything. They are the reasonable guys. You heard Mr. Ivan Jim in our 1 o'clock crossing. Basically, his whole approach, when we asked him, what is your reaction to the new offer of 5%? He dwelt more on the rationale that NUMSA is coming from, not the militant that we want this, otherwise there's going to be hell, we're going to down tools no matter what, we're going to shut down the grid, turn off the lights, and so on and so on. So that's what you have now at play here. So that's what we're going to be watching going forward. If the NUMSA and NUM alliance is going to hold, or we're going to see it crack and break up and have more NUM basically charging its own way forward with its members.
Explain the dynamics, but I'm quite surprised when you say that NUMSA is less radical than the NUM. And are you fundamentally saying that NUM and NUMSA are not actually on the same page in terms of their wage expectation?
The point is simply this. Here you have three unions. You have the National Union of Mine Workers, which is the majority union at Eskom. You have NUMSA, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, which is the second biggest union at Eskom. Then you've got Solidarity. These are not one union. This is not one organization. They do not represent their constituencies. The members is not the same person at Eskom. So basically, I was trying to illustrate the difference between the character of these three separate entities who are here negotiating on behalf of their members who are all Eskom workers. So up to now, the approach has been to be in lockstep with one another, despite the differences of membership, character of membership. For instance, like I've been highlighting this throughout, that, for instance, Solidarity represents a totally different type of constituency at Eskom, the white, middle class, skilled worker at Eskom. But so far the approach has been to try and be lockstep with one another in terms of putting forward their demands, negotiating with the employer as one block of unions representing workers at Eskom. That is what is now being tested from today onwards for the reasons that I've just outlined. So there is a change, there's a definite change in the approach and tone of the negotiations in as far as the three separate unions are concerned. And that is going to determine how these negotiations unfold from now on and the outcome thereof at different stages. I did mention in the earlier crossing that we are told that the NUM members at Eskom that I've described as being militant or more militant than the NUMSA members, they are saying that following the statement that they saw being made by the Minister of Finance in London, we are told that they were angered by that statement. And hence, while last week they had agreed on reducing their demands from double digit to 9% for the first year, we understand now that for the second year they had agreed to lower their demand for the second year to 8.6% and to 8.5% for the third year. That is the position that the mandate that they'd given the leadership last week. But after seeing the statement by the minister saying that government has no money for Eskom workers, now their attitude has changed. Now they are saying, okay, let's forget about 3 years. Let's go back to double digit, 12%. We want Eskom to agree to that by this coming weekend, failing which we are embarking on strike come Monday.
Mbongeni, excellently explained. Thank you very much, my colleague. That was Mbongeni Mutwa, just explaining what's happening there with the Eskom wage talks. We're going to go for a short break. Do stay with us.